Imagine waking up one morning to discover that an impenetrable layer of darkness has covered the entire earth. The light has gone, the sun has disappeared, and there's nothing left except the icy quiet of an unending nothingness. 3 days of complete darkness are predicted to be a sign that the earth is about to be purified. This isn't just a gloomy dream, it's one of the most unnerving visions that renowned visionary Mirjana of Medjugorje, who has drawn attention from believers all over the world, especially in the United States, has ever received. However, what makes these images so terrifying? And why do so many people today still believe that these predictions will soon come to pass? The 3 days of darkness that Mirjana sees are not unique. Biblical predictions that reverberate throughout the Old Testament and the Book of Revelation, detailing terrible catastrophes that signal the end of one era and the start of a new one, are consistent with them. A time of darkness has frequently been interpreted as a sign of judgment and cleansing throughout Christian history. The intensity and precision with which Mirjana has conveyed her views is what sets them apart. These visions indicate that only those who are ready spiritually will make it through this hardship. It talks about spending this crucial time praying fervently, lighting blessed candles, and taking cover within one's house. For a large number of people, particularly in the US, these predictions are more than just far-off myths. The concept of an impending spiritual calamity appears oddly realistic in a society dominated by social dysfunction, natural calamities, and growing global uncertainty. The words of Mirjana are seen by many Catholics as an urgent summons to action, indicating that the world is about to undergo profound upheaval. The mystery surrounding these 3 days and their unpredictable nature are the main sources of terror. Nobody can predict with certainty when or how they will happen, but what Mirjana has told us is enough to chill even the hardiest of hearts. It is believed that during these days, the powers of evil will prowl the world, and anybody who leaves their houses will perish. The only people who will be spared are those who, through prayer and faith, do not waver. The connection to the Bible becomes clear in this setting. There is a strong similarity between the 10 plagues of Egypt, especially the plague of darkness. Many others think that the current 3 days of darkness represent a comparable manifestation, a time when God intervenes once again in human history to purify and regenerate, just as God did then, using darkness to show His strength and free His people. This explains why people both dread and admire these visions. For Christians, there is a call to conversion, prayer, and preparedness in addition to terror. Belief of the Last Judgment has caused many people to increase their faith in the United States, where Medjugorje's teachings have developed a large following. They believe that these events are approaching. However, what exactly will take place during these 3 days? Most importantly, are we prepared? Why the 3 days of darkness are coming and the fear is real. Many Christians, particularly in the United States, think that the 3 days of darkness are coming. This feeling of imminence stems not just from religious history and Mirjana's visions, but also from the general atmosphere of unpredictability, which many see as early indicators of the event. Many people find it simple to interpret wars, natural calamities, and growing moral and social problems as stepping stones toward a worldwide purging. Mirjana has frequently mentioned a period of extreme misery and darkness in her visions. Her teachings indicate that the 3 days of darkness will represent a concrete symbol of divine judgment rather than just a natural occurrence. This statement is consistent with past Marian apparitions, including the ones at Fatima and Garabandal, where the arrival of God's kingdom is predicted to be preceded by a time of severe hardship. Many people believe that the period of divine compassion is going to expire and give way to the time of divine justice because of the emphasis placed on the necessity for prayer and conversion. The interpretation of the time's indications is another element that feeds the feeling of imminence. Some believers perceive a form of warning in the present world events, such as political disputes, pandemics, and climatic catastrophes. In apocalyptic talks, the Bible itself states that signs in the heavens and on the earth will precede the day of the Lord. The notion of 3 days of darkness seems more likely and closer to reality for many believers because these signals are currently present. Furthermore, according to some prophecy experts, Mirjana's visions line up with other prophecies from other sources that all point to an impending trial. This supports the theory that the 3 days of darkness are a true spiritual reality that may happen at any time rather than just a myth or metaphor. Hence, a combination of elements contributes to the feeling of imminence, visions and prophetic messages, omens of the times, and an atmosphere of growing anxiety and unpredictability across the world. For many Christians, this combination turns the dread of the 3 days of darkness from a theoretical and abstract concept to a tangible and real prospect. Why America is in peril and what warning signs to look out for. Many Christians think that the United States is especially susceptible to the 3 days of darkness because of a number of premonitory indicators that point to a fast deepening moral and spiritual crisis. There are several reasons for the belief that the USA is at the epicenter of this impending global cleansing. First off, one of the most obvious indicators is seen to be the nation's growing secularization. Once essential religious customs in American culture seem to be fading away, giving way to moral principles that many see as opposed to Christian doctrine. The United States is believed to be moving away from God's will due to the abandoning of religious practice, the adoption of legislation that encourages actions deemed immoral, and a culture that is becoming more and more centered upon consumerism and individualism. It is thought that the nation may be leading the way in cleansing because of this spiritual distance. In order to prevent worldwide calamities, Mirjana's visions and those of other Medjugorje visionaries always stress the necessity of conversion. But the USA, one of the world's most powerful nations, may face very dire repercussions if there isn't a widespread return to faith. The idea that the communications from Medjugorje are not only for all of mankind but also contain particular cautions for the countries that have deviated the most from God adds to this terror. Natural catastrophes like hurricanes, wildfires, and earthquakes are premonitory indications that the United States should be wary of. These phenomena have all become more frequent and intense in recent years. Many believe that these tragedies are divine warnings rather than just accidents. Simultaneously, social discontent, political division, and financial instability are regarded as additional indicators of a decline in the nation's spiritual underpinnings. The likelihood of international wars and the rising level of hostility between nations are two more unsettling indicators. Many Christians believe that events that may disturb the equilibrium of the world, such as an increase in conflicts, may occur before the 3 days of darkness. Being in the front line of these challenges as a major nation makes the United States especially susceptible. In the end, the USA is regarded as being in danger due to several premonitory indicators that are developing inside the nation, in addition to its collective crimes as documented in the scriptures and visions. Those who hold to these prophecies need to be alert and ready spiritually for whatever may occur. Suggestions for becoming ready for the 3 days of night. Spiritual readiness. Since Mirjana's visions and those of other visionaries view the 3 days of darkness as a test of faith, spiritual preparation is essential to enduring them. The following are some suggested actions. Confession. The significance of cleansing by the sacrament of confession is emphasized in the communications from Medjugorje. Frequent confession keeps the soul prepared for whatever comes next. Rosary prayer. The Madonna has endorsed the Rosary as one of the most potent spiritual weapons in several apparitions. It is recommended to pray it several times a day for protection and strength over the 3 days. Blessed candles. During the 3 days of darkness, it is said that only blessed candles will bring light. It is advised to have many priest-bought blessed candles in your house. Adoration and Mass. Attending Mass on a regular basis and taking part in Eucharistic adoration are two methods to deepen one's faith and connection with God. The significance of the Eucharist as a source of grace has been underlined by the Madonna at Medjugorje. Novenas and fasting. These customs, which are considered as additional means of obtaining divine mercy, are considered as types of sacrifice and spiritual cleansing in addition to prayer. Physical setup. Practical preparations are advised in addition to spiritual preparation. Food and drink. Based on predictions, no one will be able to leave their houses for at least 3 days, so it's best to keep enough food and drink on hand. Some believers advise consuming simple-to-prepare, non-perishable food. Remain inside. It is imperative that you stay inside for the entire 3 days. It is urged to keep doors and windows closed to prevent seeing outside happenings, which the visions claim might frighten or even kill anybody who witnesses them. Blankets and clothes. Having warm blankets and proper clothes on hand is helpful in the event of power outages or extremely cold conditions, as the weather can shift suddenly. Put your faith and trust in divine mercy. Despite the anxiety that surrounds these prophecies, faith in God's kindness is a crucial component of preparing. The Madonna of Medjugorje has always exhorted the faithful to live in God's favor and to completely believe in the divine purpose rather than to be fearful.